the Zohar Parshas Emor, Daf Kuf Daled Amid Aleph. Lekachtem lechem b'yom rishon, that's how it starts. And so we're going into the first day. We're preparing for the first day. What is the first day? The first day because we've just finished the process. In this process, we've received the most prized possession a human being can have in this universe. We've just completed a process that gave us the most prized possession in the universe. This possession is forgiveness. Our soul has received forgiveness. Forgiveness is the path to go into any location within the soul. If we desire to enter to the core of the soul, what did nature put as a protection so that we don't come and contaminate the world, contaminate the soul, contaminate the life force with our wrong ideas, with our misguided emotions that are based on false beliefs, that are based on interacting with people that don't really care about the importance of what's happening. And so what did nature put as a guardian to protect the life force, to protect life itself, to protect the heart, to protect the soul? It's that for every level that you want to go deeper into reality, you need to be in the right side of the equation. The right side of the equation means that you need to have a certain innocence. You need to be in what's called kav zchut. You, your internal intelligence, must believe that you are acting in accordance with the truth, because if not, you will not be allowed to enter. If you will enter, you will contaminate. This is why we can see great people in all religions. It's not about the language that he's using. He's gaining access because he is aligning with his beliefs. His intelligence agrees with how he interacts with reality. He believes in what he is doing. If he believes, then the angels think that he is right. If he himself doesn't believe, he is the one that's saying that he is wrong. Then he is locked out from his own soul, from his own heart. He can no longer feel what's real for him. Why? Because he is not trusted. If he will enter, he will contaminate with the way that he understands. And then the life force will not want to continue. And so the heart will not listen to him. How does the heart not listen to him? It doesn't allow him access biologically. He can't make changes in that place. And so when we receive forgiveness, forgiveness means that we go back into kav zchut. We belong here. This is right for us. This is ours. What do you mean it's yours? You know how to behave? You know what to be? No, but I've been forgiven for that. I understood that I don't know. I asked to be forgiven, and I've received forgiveness. I'm a new man. And so therefore, after I'm a new man, there's going to be a first day. Now we're preparation. We're preparing for the first day. This light that we've been building, this light that has been growing for 12 days, the light that started the new moon, where she's receiving new intelligence, new light from the sun, a whole new interpretation for life became available. We've cleansed ourselves and prepared for it, and now is going to be the culmination of that first moon. That's going to be the first day. The first day where we start finding out, how did we do in this process? Do we feel different? Did anything change? Or is it still the same old, continuing further? And so when we want to find access to reality, what does it mean if we've been completely forgiven? What will our soul give us as a token of that forgiveness, to prove that we've really been forgiven? What will we receive as a reward? What we will receive is what was ours in the first place. We just couldn't receive because we weren't ready, because we were so confused that we didn't even know how to align with our own beliefs. We didn't realize that the one who designed us had an intention, and our beliefs have to match his intention. Otherwise, we are causing a tremendous conflict in a place where it's going to very hurt. And so the reward for being forgiven is you get your soul back. How do you get your soul back? By getting closer to the name. The name that you've been worshipping this whole time. Why have you been worshipping the name? Because you're not yet him. Let's not fool ourselves. So who are you working for? For yourself? That's miserable. No, you're working for something better, right? For something more real. For your soul. That soul, when you're going to receive that soul, what are we going to say? That you have discovered the name. Whose name? The name of the Creator. Why is your soul the name of the Creator? Because that's the way He dressed up for you. That's His name. That's how you know Him. That's His name. His name has been desecrated for thousands of years. His name, what is His name? The way that our soul dresses up. Our soul has been dressing up in some very inhumane costumes. And we've seen the results. The name has been desecrated. That's the only reason this can happen. If someone knew the holiness of the name, would they ever do such a stupid thing? Would they ever go against reality? Would they ever go against humanity? Would they ever try to hurt anything on purpose? Of course not. It's only because the name has been desecrated that this can even happen. And so on the first day, what are you going to do? Rabbi Shimon, Pasach Rabbi Shimon opens our eyes, opens our heart, opens our soul. Everything that's called within my name, for my glory I created it, I formed it, and I made it. Anything that you have come across in your existence is a form of His name. And if He dressed up in that name, it's for His glory that He dressed up in that name. If you can comprehend, if you can pay attention, if you can keep your attention long enough on a very important subject, you will realize that it all has a deeper meaning, a real purpose of why it's happening the way that it's happening. Nothing is random. And when we speak about nothing is random, the explanation is biological. It's not some sophisticated system that keeps track of us. It's us ourselves. We were built in such a way that we react to the environment. Our entire production of a lifetime is just reactions. If we were in a different place, speaking a different language, would we react the same way? Of course not. And so we're constantly reacting. The way that we were built is that we are a mirror, and then our eyes see and our ears listen. That's part of the brain. And so the environment is part of the brain. We think within our environment through the tools, through the biological tools that make what we see and what we hear part of the brain. And so everything that comes forth from us is reacting to something that was there prior. We, the mirror, have to have the intelligence to untangle ourselves so that we don't get caught up in the big brain. So that we can listen to something deeper, so that we can hear the voice of our heart, the voice of our neshama, the voice of the desire that's making us, that's giving us life. Why is it giving us life? Can we be silent enough to listen to what it wants with this? Because it's doing it right here, and so it knows the answer right here. But have I gotten access to the answer? That depends on the level of forgiveness that I've received. Have I been forgiven for misunderstanding it so deeply? Until I almost became an enemy? Not almost, I was an enemy. I didn't know I'm an enemy. I thought I was helping. But my understanding was wrong, and therefore I was causing damage. And so for the gates of forgiveness to open, it would mean that my heart will be completely clean. It would mean that I have access to my soul for the first time. Yeah, as a child I might have had it, but I didn't have access. I wasn't intelligent enough. And so everything that exists for His glory. There's no mistake. Listen. Don't speak back to reality. Listen to reality. It's happening. It's really happening. What's really happening, pay attention to that. Not to all the theories and all the ideas and all the maybes and the imagination wants to compete. Listen to reality. It's the name of the Creator. Every impulse, every movement inside of you is the name of the Creator. You want to know Him? Listen. He's talking non-stop. He created it this way. No one else could. It's all made for my glory. So He says, who is this? Kol hanikra bishmi. Kol, everything. Who is this everything that we are talking about? The everything that's called in His name, we know Him very well. The Odom, this is man. Why is man called everything? Because man is a sample of everything. Man is a small world. Every animal, every plant, every flower, every bird has a spirit within the human spirit. This is why we're so intelligent. We have the intelligence of all the animals. Shlomo could understand. Shlomo Melech, Chacham Mikol Adam, could understand all these spirits and knew all these animals from within his own soul. And then he could communicate with them through these spirits that we all have. Our spirits are not necessarily tamed. Our spirits are not necessarily put to the right use. Then they come barking in the wrong times. But they're all there for a purpose. They're all meant to sing the song together. Nothing is there because it's meant to be a nuisance. The only nuisance is something that we have added to reality, and that's called lies. Humans have learned to lie to themselves, to others. That's an invention that humans came up with that really derailed their progress. They lost track of the truth. They thought that they were fooling someone else, but the spirit inside is listening just the same, just like the someone else. And the truth has been forgotten from all the lies. And even now, we can go look for the truth, we can try, but to recreate spirit out of books, that can take a while. It's the spirit that we're looking for. It's not the words. It's not the intellectual information. It's the name. How is it that the Creator is dressed up as such? This is what we want to know. It's not enough that there's all these commandments, this you do and this you don't do. Yes, but why would the Creator dress up this way? What is He trying to teach me? Why is this intelligent? Why is this the best it can possibly be? It must be better than anything we've ever imagined. Otherwise, it's not divine, it's not godly, it's nothing to worship at all. And so everything represents his name. And what's this everything? This is man. Who represents most? The Creator. The one who's most intelligent. Because the Creator is intelligence. So the most intelligent species is the one that demonstrates the face of the Creator. If we lose intelligence, the Creator looks bad. That's the worst thing that can happen on this planet, is that the Creator looks bad. That makes everyone weak. That makes everyone cranky. And so as long as they believe in the name appropriately, why? Because man is representing the name appropriately, then it's pleasant to be human. Everybody wants in. But if the Creator is misrepresented, why? Because man is misbehaving. Oh boy. And this is not universal. This is in every home. This is in every interaction. This is in every thought and in every emotion. If you go to bad neighborhoods, that's one type of God that they experience. If you go to a better neighborhood, different type of God. Why? Because man is the face. The Tzelem Elohim means he represents. He literally represents. Who else represents? Whatever we're going to write in the book, it's only going to be as alive as the man saying it. And so man is the face, and based on how he sees the face, all the worlds start rolling. All the angels, everything sings along. The situation is so good we can't even grasp that it could be so good, and therefore we're not making use of the good, and then it's bad. That good is our birthright. If we don't have it, then something in us is hungry or thirsty and we're not giving it what it needs. And so it says, the Kitcher B'richi Borele B'Shmei, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created man with his name. He created man in his form. V'Korele B'Shmei, he called him in his name, with one condition. Man is called in the name of the Creator with one condition. B'shate de'apik shoit v'dina ba'alma. If he is grounded in truth and in justice. If man is grounded in truth and in justice, he is the face of the Creator. Not he's pretending to be, he really is. But if he's not grounded to be in the truth and to behave just, then he is misrepresenting the Creator. He's desecrating the name. He's ruining it for everyone. Life just became a little less valuable. V'ikra lehim, a person that behaves according to the truth and according to justice is called Elohim. Elohim means someone who represents the divine force that wants us here. D'chsiv, Elohim le'sekala. You shouldn't curse a judge. Why is a judge called Elohim? If he creates justice, then he represents the divine. This is the will of the divine, that there should be a life on earth that can thrive spiritually. And so if we misrepresent the divine, that's called idol worship. Who's the idol? Whatever we're imagining is important. Whatever we think is more important than the divine, that's the idol. Because for that reason we are lying about something. We don't realize the importance of everything that's taking place. We think we can somehow cheat something. If we think we can somehow cheat something, then we're losing access to the divine. We are something other. What idol was worth doing that for? If we know that everything we experience because it's His glory, then we embrace the experience and we are honest with the experience. And we don't try to lie to ourselves or to anyone in order to get ahead. Because this is the name. If we play with the name, if our soul misunderstands us because we use our mouth in a way that's not responsible, then the soul interacts with us as if that's true. There's really no way to go around the soul. The soul is a very comprehensive being because it's His energy you're using in order to manifest whatever it is, whether it's thought, it's speech, emotions, it's all coming from the energy of the soul. So we can't bypass the soul, and the soul understands all our maneuvers. All the organs involved in every maneuver are known to the soul. It created them. And so therefore, when someone represents the truth, it says, don't curse someone who represents justice, someone who represents truth. Because it's not with him that you're messing with the truth. And the truth is bigger than all of us. If someone is hurting the truth, if someone took a stance against reality, sometimes there were big people who would curse. That means that they made their vote, that they don't want that to exist. Amalek is cursed from an ancient world. This is the nature of the soul. This is beyond our understanding how these things operate, but there's a lot of knowledge about us in the higher realms that we are completely ignorant of. They know us, obviously, from angles that we are completely unaware of. And those angles are meaningful. We have things working for us and against us that we are totally unaware of. Also things that happened in our life that we've long forgotten. And also things that came with us from another life that we never even remembered since we've been in this body. But it's all there, it's all real. It's more real than our illusions of what's happening. And so we have to get used to the fact that things are going on that we can't understand, but they're very real. And we have to respect those realms. We have to respect the realms that are beyond us, because they are in charge of what's happening to us. Even though we think we're maneuvering down here and this is making all the difference, it's true it's making all the difference, but not in the way that you think. You don't really know what you're negotiating with. And so everything was designed perfectly so that the soul gives forth what really needs to happen. And so therefore, when we keep justice, then the world can remain healthy. When we lose justice, the spiritual health deteriorates. What's the end result of a spiritual health deteriorating? Is mental health deteriorating, emotional health deteriorating. We don't anymore have a grounding in reality. We don't anymore have a grounding in justice. We don't anymore understand what the soul really needs. And so in the beginning it's easy because we have reserves, because we want life, because we've had a lot of pleasures as young people, and there's still desire for life. But eventually, if we don't have justice, if we don't have something that pleases the soul gets worn out. The soul doesn't have what to lean on. And the main thing it's trying to know, the main thing it's trying to remember, and it's difficult for it to remember while it's in the body, is that the Creator is sweet and kind and loving. This is the main test, is that over there everything is sweet and kind and loving. We're going to put you in a place where it might feel like everything is not sweet and not kind and not loving, and let's see if your soul can remember. Because that proves the quality of the soul. That brings out the quality of the soul from potential into manifestation, where if it marks the body with that perception. If it can understand that while it's in the body. The moment it leaves the body, of course it will know. It won't believe that it didn't understand that and that it couldn't believe that. It won't believe that it's even possible. Because it takes all this. It took a long time of convincing until we start breaking down. As children, we know it naturally. And then all the scary things and all the pain and everything we go through and all the doubts that we have and all the different questions about different things. And little by little, the soul is getting defeated. Little by little, the soul is forgetting where it's really attached and who is really the one that's responsible for it. And it starts worshipping idols, different things. It starts saying, oh, this is keeping me safe and this is keeping me safe. And maybe if I do more of this, I'll feel more safe. And maybe if I do more of that, I'll feel more safe. But really what it's looking for is that the right environment. It's looking for the safety of the principles that designed life. It's looking for something that it remembers and it knows and it will recognize. And so we have to remember that we are the name. We have to remember that we represent the name. There's no one else that's representing God. Everything you know about God has to do with human beings, including your own human being. You can never breach that frontier. Even the ones who spoke to the highest level angels, they were doing it from within the context of a human soul. The face of God was still the human soul. And this is what Klal Yisrael realized when they saw Noichi coming out right from within their own soul. Their own heart was suddenly revealing that I am tuned into the highest channels. I just can't tell you everything. And so now comes the Chaim Hemni says, Pekuda do, little lulav bahu yoime be'innen zinin delay. This is the mitzvah of taking a lilav. It's called netilas lilav. With all the minim, the esrig, the hadasim and the aroves. V'hai roza kimno v'kmiu chavrayo b'mo kemo de kitche v'riche notloin liYisrael b'hana yoyim v'chada b'hoin. So we're going to take these 4 different types of plants and we're going to combine them. And by that, we're going to be emulating what the Creator did with us, which is that He gave us forgiveness. And by doing that, He took all these plants that I'm carrying with me, called my body, the different types of organs, each one its own little plant, its own little territory, its own little ecosystem. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose these organs and these limbs, and He said, these I want, these are mine. These I'm happy with. These I'm going to use in order to cleanse the world from all the demonic spirits. And so we take the lulav and the esrog and we shake it to all the 4 ruchos. Why? All the 6 sides. Because from those 6 sides come different forms of demons, different types of ruchos. And when we say, hey, you have no business here, I've been chosen. Move on, moving along. And so we're taking the Arba Minim, we're representing what is happening spiritually when we receive forgiveness. This is why on the first day, what do? We say, thank you, Lord. Why? Because we have the intelligence to be liberated. because we have the intelligence to outsmart the demons. Because we have a mechanism for forgiveness. If there was no forgiveness, the demons would continue chasing us for eternity. The mechanism of forgiveness means, hey, you're coming to bother me about something in the past, but it's past Yom Kippur. What do you want from my life? It's done. It's over with. We did the process. And so now we've been chosen by the intelligence. How do we know? Because we've received it. It's not some theoretical belief. It's an actual manifestation if we understand what we are doing. Our minim have been chosen if we can now face the demons in all 6 sides. Then we know that we've been liberated. How have we been liberated? Because we represent the name. There's no room for mistakes. So, just like Kadosh Baruch Hu takes Klal Yisrael these days, he's happy with them. They take HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they take the name as their portion, and they're happy with it. This is the secret of the lulav and all the different kinds. It's the secret of the form of a human being. That's what the lulav represents. The lulav itself represents the spine. The spine, that's the spiritual route where all the instructions from the brain travel to all the organs. It's the center highway of the entire organism. And so the lulav represents the spine, and the spine at the end has to be united, all the different parts, because the brain, where the brainstem connects it to the spine, needs to be united with one goal, not the different areas in the brain fighting with each other. There needs to be a yichud at the top of the lulav. And then we're meyached the lulav with the esrik, and with the hadasim, and with the arovis. And they all represent different parts of the body, different zoyars represent them differently. The esrik represents the heart, and sometimes it represents the ois bris, and the hadasim represent the hands and the body, and the arovis the 2 legs. This is the most common of how it's being described, but there's also internal organs, there's also face organs, there's a lot of different ways of how it gets interpreted. But at the end of the day, what does it really mean? Without getting lost in the technicalities, it's talking about the form of a human being that the Creator chose, and since He has forgiven us, now we are the human beings that He chose. Which human beings did He choose? Those who are innocent, those who are not guilty. Those are the ones that He chose. Why? Because the guilty ones are not allowed to enter. If they're guilty and they enter, they will contaminate. And so the secret of the man is that the more you can get forgiveness, the more you can reclaim your soul. And this is the gift that we have received. We have received forgiveness, and now we have access to the name. The Zohar now continues. This was the Rai Mehemne, came with the mitzvah. And now, because we were saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu called us in His name, so the Zohar is going to go in more into the details of what does that mean, that we are the name. We've spoken about one aspect of it, where the human being, the way that he behaves, this is the experience that we're all having of who is the creator and what does he want with us. We have no other way of knowing, only through human beings, including our own human being. But here he's going to speak about an even deeper way in which we represent the creator. דכסיב, ויברא אלוהים את האדם בצלמו ושפר. ויקמנה דכסיב נעשה האדם בצלמנו כדמותנו. So first he said, let's create a man in our form and in our image. And then it says, he created man in his form. And so he says, when do we see that man is in the form of the creator? B'shata de zeviga itmar. This is speaking about the time when a man is together with a woman. That's when a man really is in the form of the creator, because he is actually creating. Just like the creator created the man, and the man is the optimal achievement of the creator. Everything that we know that he designed, he only designed in order to create this optimal achievement, which is a human being. And here, a human being is creating a human being. So then the two together, as they are together, they are representing his power. That's what happens when the two get together. B'tzelem udmus. It's in the form and in the image. A man comes out from a male and a female. And so a male and a female means they are now representing the creator and creation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Shechina. And so this is the tzelem and the dmus. The tzelem is the form. The form is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The form is the plan. The form is the source of the potential. But the Shechina is the dmus, the image of that form. She receives how he gives. So he is the form and she is the image. And so the same thing, when a male and a female are together, he represents the form and she represents the image. He represents HaKadosh Baruch Hu, she represents the Shechina. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created man in his form. Besifra de Shlomo Malka Shkachna were found in the Sefer of Shlomo HaMelech. The Beshata de Zevigo, the time when the male and the female Ishtekach Lesata, they come together here on earth. Shodar Kitchebrichi Chad Yokne Kekpartsufa de Banash. Whenever there's a male and female together, there's an other form that's also there with them. There's an additional spirit that accompanies what is taking place. And this spirit has the same face as a human spirit. It looks like a human. Not only it looks like a human, the way that it looks has directly to do with the two people that are together. That's the form that it takes on. Like we'll see that if a child is born from that, that child will somehow have the face of the two people that were involved. And so why does that child have that face? It's because this spirit that joins already, when it's happening, this spirit is a combination of the two spirits. It's a drawing that's engraved in a form. It stands over this union. It unites together with the people who are uniting. They feel this spirit, they just don't know it's a spirit. Just like everything in the Western culture, we just remove the concept of spirits and we call it mental health. We call it, what do you mean? I was just thinking. But no, there's something animating you at all times. And what animates you is a spirit. It comes from the spirit world. Spirit means the world of concept and information, the world of perception and consciousness. That's the spirit world. And in that world, we are constantly interacting with all kinds of spirits. So also, when we're uniting with another person, we're experiencing an influx of spirits, including this spirit that's being discussed, which is a spirit that's a combination of the two spirits. If a person could see with his eyes, he would see on his head a form. It has the face of a human being. With that form, with that spirit, a human being gets created. So whenever male and female are together, they're inviting an additional spirit that's coming to assist. This is regardless of whether there's going to be a child. If there's going to be a child, that spirit is already there, prepared to go into the child. If that spirit doesn't stand there on the head of the one who is creating the child, and he needs to have a presence there, a human being cannot be created without that. There's no way to avoid this process and have a human being. He created man with this tzelem. What's this tzelem? The spirit that joins and then becomes the child, comes into the body of the child to guide him through life. This spirit never leaves the child until the child is ready to leave the earth. This spirit that gets created by the father and the mother while they're creating the child never leaves the child until they leave their bodies. So first, this tzelem goes into the child. As soon as he comes into the world, as he comes into the world, this spirit is what he feeds. This spirit is what gives him the capacity to continue. This is why the pasuk says, "Ach b'tzelem yisal achish." Only within a tzelem can a man go. What is this tzelem? It's this spirit that was created while the parents created the child. It's this desire that awakened. We awakened the desire within the collective soul to exist more, and that desire dressed up as a spirit, and that spirit became the child. This is the tzelem that's above them. V'shatadin in rucha nafke me'asrai kol rucha v'rucha estakim kama malke kadisha b'sekina yikar b'fartzifa dekoim b'hai alma. And so, what is this spirit created of? This spirit has the full form of a human being with all its organs and all its limbs and all its arteries and all its nerves. It has all the details, but in a very spiritual form. It hasn't even come into anything physical yet. It's just a desire that has been awakened within the soul that is looking for somewhere to come in. He says, yes, you want life? Okay, I'm coming. Let's create life. And so this desire that's dressing up in a spirit, this desire that doesn't even have yet a body, he contains already all the spirit that he's going to need to make a body. All the instructions that he's going to need to make every single limb, every single organ, every single cell. He already has all these instructions, because it's awakening of life. When life awakens, the life awakens with all these properties. All the worlds were created in this form. And so every spirit, when all these spirits come out from all the heavens now, we're going to collect spirits that together are going to form a spirit, and this spirit is going to be able to be human. And so it's a collection of all the stars. Everybody's giving their spirit. So when these spirits come out, these little spirits that are going to become a big spirit, they all come in front of the creative force, the life force that's going to gather them in order to give them life. And they come all dressed up. They come all excited for their new mission. Every star is sending with so much desire, because they want to be part of this creation. And so the spirit comes in front of the king, which is the life force that's gathering her army, which is going to go in. We're going to make another body. We're going to become another human. And everybody is all fancy, all dressed up. They're celebrating. They all come together to make the exact face that's going to stand in this world. This is why we're calling it the name of God. From this form, which is the most precious of all forms, comes out the spirit that contains them all. And so therefore, when we represent our closeness to the divine, it's not theoretical what we are representing. What our forefathers did was choose reality, and therefore it will always be there for us to inherit. They just knew how to have access to reality, how to celebrate reality, how to feel reality. That's what they had that we need to learn from them. And so when we know the name, we didn't create for ourselves something new. We were the same thing before, we just didn't know. And when we don't know, it feels terrible. There's so much to know about this name. What does it mean to be that? How do I connect to that? But first, we have to take all the respect that we have for whoever created and invest it in respecting what he created. We have to make a face for him that's digestible to the human heart. Otherwise, we lose access to him. And so this is the celebration. The celebration is that we have received forgiveness, therefore we have received ourselves. And if he is happy with us, then we are happy with him. Isn't it amazing that people were dancing for thousands of years, holding these in order to demonstrate their devotion? Most of them didn't know what they were trying to accomplish. And yet the power was with the intention of the one who designed the ritual. They were all drawing from the intention of the one who designed the ritual, and they were receiving. He was quite powerful. And the way that it was formed together as a collective. It was formed by the souls, united. This doesn't happen often. When souls together come to an agreement, to an understanding, then it has a much bigger impact. And if all the souls in a nation agree to something, it has a tremendous impact. This is why when we are weak, we are fragmented. This is the source of our weakness, but this is also a result of our weakness. Whether we're fragmented inside or we're fragmented outside. We don't know what we want. Different possibilities. We're not committed to what's real. And so we have to be meyached all the koiches. This is the inyan of the yichud. And when we take the esrog and the lulav, we're meyached. We're meyached the heart with the spine that is leading to all the organs. The heart is learning to love every organ again. Every organ is doing its service. Even the organs that can become a big problem for the heart really wants a good relationship with them. She needs them, or she will have bigger problems. And so the heart has a love for all the organs, and yet we have to bring them together because the nature of the reality is such is that things get offended and need to be forgiven. And so may we all have access to our souls so that we can enjoy, appreciate the forgiveness that we've received. May we all celebrate the relief that we have received by the realization of what always is. And so even though it always is, it doesn't mean we always have access to it, because we are sometimes in places that aren't. And so may we have access to what already is, to what always is, to what will always be, to what our forefathers understood, to what we are trying to understand. And may it happen now.